Hi, it's Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, and I'm back with my plans and pans. Well, it has taken this long for the leadership in the House of Representatives, the Republicans, to finally put together an emergency funding package for national security. First of all, let me just say how important it is that we do help Ukraine. It is long overdue. Ukraine has been fighting a war basically against Vladimir Putin and against Russia. And the war is in a dire situation right now and needs the help of the United States to make sure that Ukraine survives. And it is not only in their interest, it is in the interest of the entire world, certainly of the United States, so that Putin and Russia do not dominate and decide to move on beyond Ukraine and take over parts of the world. So we want to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs, and I am very happy to make sure that we do. And by the way, our allies around the world have been helping, but the United States, unfortunately, has been stopped because too many on the Republican side have said they don't want to put money into helping Ukraine, but we're doing it. Also in that part of the package is money for the Indo-Pacific region. That would be Taiwan, which has been very important to the economy of the United States. The region supplies more than 3 million American jobs. So I am happy to support that portion of the legislation as well. Also in this package is money that addresses the war that is ongoing between Israel and Hamas. And one of the things that it does is to provide humanitarian assistance for the people within Gaza. We see every day in the news the number of people, including children, who are not only dying because of the war itself, but also because they don't have enough food to eat, they don't have enough water to drink. And we want to make sure that that money goes to those innocent people in Gaza right now. Of course, we would like to see Hamas agree to a ceasefire that would allow for more humanitarian aid and would also make sure that we can get the hostages out. So that is something that I've been encouraging. I also want to make sure that the money that is going to Israel is for defensive weapons that protects Israel to defend itself. And I definitely support that. Particularly what we're talking about is making sure that there's enough money for Iron Dome, for David's Sling, and for the Iron Beam missile defense system. I have expressed concern that any weapons transfers to Israel make sure that Israel abides by U.S. national and also international law and make sure that the use of offensive weapons is in accordance with the law. We must work with the administration and the world to end this ongoing war and to make sure that all the hostages that are still being held captive by Hamas in Gaza are released, and that we begin working for a long-term solution that will include a two-state solution for a safe and secure Israel and for the rights and security of the Palestinian people. The really good news of the week was a hearing in my subcommittee of the Energy and Commerce Committee that is about getting a U.S. online privacy bill passed. You know, still we find that 86% of Americans feel insecure for their own private information when going online, and for good reason, because big tech for all these years has really been taking advantage of consumers. We know that there's such things as data brokers who buy and sell your information. And I think there are very few people who really know there is such a business as being a data broker, but you really are the product. They are taking your information. And it is time to rein in big tech. Well, there was unanimity in the committee, Republicans and Democrats, and then there was unanimity among the 6 people who were testifying from all different parts of life, but experts on the internet who say we have to do data privacy. Almost every other country in the world has already done that. Their consumers around the world do not feel as vulnerable as Americans do when going online. And it is really time for us to act, and I think this is a very important first step. And what really did encourage me is that I didn't see any voices that were saying, no, we should let big tech do whatever they want. So I am looking forward to quickly as possible moving in the direction of a comprehensive online data privacy legislation. As a member of the Oversight Subcommittee of the Energy and Commerce Committee, I was at a hearing where I had an opportunity to talk about overpayments by Medicare Advantage. You've heard me many times talk about Medicare Advantage. This is not regular Medicare. This is for-profit insurance companies that offer what they call Medicare Advantage. But what we have found is that we are by far overpaying Medicare Advantage, which when initially it was brought out, we were supposedly going to save money, that it was going to be cheaper than traditional Medicare. But the reality is that we are seeing that in the last 3 years, $224 billion in overpayments to Medicare Advantage. But one of the ways they're helping to make money is by denying care. Hundreds of thousands of people around the country who are on Medicare Advantage have experienced denial of care. And what we also have found that when those denials are challenged, 80% of them are overturned. In other words, it is a legitimate thing that that Medicare Advantage should pay for. The overpayments to Medicare Advantage would actually be able to finance eye care, hearing aids, dental work, the things that many people want to have in their traditional Medicare. The other issue that I raised is something that Medicare Advantage does, which is upcoding. What they try and do is to review the record of all the people who are signed up and make it look like they're sicker than they really are, because then they can charge more money. And so my view is that there has to be oversight of Medicare Advantage. And at the end of this hearing, when asked what is the most important thing that can be done to make sure that there are not overpayments when it comes to health care, the answer from the main expert was we have to take a closer look at Medicare Advantage. On Friday, I was hoping to be at Oakton College, along with its wonderful president, Joanne Smith, to have a roundtable on how we can address the problem of high prices and price gouging that we are seeing out in the marketplace. I was able to be there virtually and to welcome to the roundtable Chair Lena Khan of the Federal Trade Commission. She has been very, very strong in protecting consumers, and in fact, the Federal Trade Commission really is the #1 protector in terms of the agencies that we have for consumers. Also with her was Kwame Raoul, who is the Attorney General of the state of Illinois, and he is also in the business of protecting consumers. So we had a group of advocates who were there to talk about what we are finding in terms of price gouging. You know, a lot of companies during the pandemic raised their prices. Well, even after the pandemic was over, what we have found is that prices have gone up. One of the principal problems has been the cost of food. I hear that all the time from constituents that call my office because they are paying pretty exorbitant prices for food. And if you really take a look, have their prices actually gone up so much? The answer is no. This is because many of in the food industry and other industries have merged. They have fewer companies that are delivering these goods, and they are taking advantage of consumers. I had introduced, along with Elizabeth Warren, the Price Gouging Prevention Act. We haven't passed it yet. I would like to do that, but I definitely want to work with the Federal Trade Commission to make sure that we are watching very, very carefully. I want to wish everyone who is celebrating Passover. I will have a Seder in my home, and wish you the very, very best. One of the things that I will be talking about, that this is a celebration of freedom, and I will be looking at freedom for all. Also, I want to tell you that it is also Arab American Heritage Month, for those who celebrate that. And finally, on Monday, it's Earth Day. And all of us should be thinking about the things that we could do to make sure that our environment is safe and getting better all the time. So that's it for this week, and I look forward to seeing you with my plans and pans next week. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.